open his hips even more deeply. And he'll relax here. You don't have to have your hands over your head. You can bring them down by the side of your bodies and just relax in that manner. I'm going to take the forward bend. And because it's hip openers, I'm going to bring the feet a little bit closer to me. I'm going to use my bolsters in front of me, or my cushions in front of me, and I'm going to flex my spine. I'm going to round my spine and bow to my posture. I can also sit on a cushion, which will help me tilt my pelvis a little bit further forward. Now this is a 5-minute hold. And we don't go into the deepest posture straight away. We start to work with our breath. We take a nice long deep inhale and lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, rounding the back. We're bowing into our posture. So really bowing into the posture. And what we want to be is just slightly outside of our comfort zone. So we want to be aware that something is happening in the body, but we can tolerate it. So you're going to feel a nice stretch and opening. My particular posture is called butterfly, and it's working into the spine along with the hips. Once the feet become a little bit closer to the groin, it's much, much deeper into the hips. And you may want to take a deeper option as we go through this length of time. There will be lots of silent moments because I want you to really focus on your inner self, what's happening in the mind, what's happening in the body, and what's happening with the breath. With regards to your breath, if you want to go a little bit deeper into your postures, just take a long, deep inhale, and on the exhale, find yourself deeper into your posture. And then we both bow our heads, and we allow ourselves and our bodies to yield to the posture. So holding these long postures in our yin yoga gives us a golden opportunity to create a meditative state and naturally learn how to meditate. Just be in the moment, not forced to think about anything, do anything, or even move. Just take advantage of that. And be fully aware of the various sensations that are arising whilst you hold these postures. If it's too intense, too long, you can always lift yourself up a little bit and stay there. Or if you want a little bit more intensity, draw the heels closer to the groin. We're really deep into the hips. Your final minute in this posture. The stillness, awareness, and time are the magic ingredients of your yin practice. So your last 3 inhales and exhales. And as we move out of the posture, we move very slowly, yin style, If you're up already, it's too quick. We move very slowly, coming out of the postures. Those who are laying on their backs, roll over to your side. Take away any props that you have. Back of the knees, hands behind the back of the knees. Take your feet really wide. And then hands come behind the buttocks, pointing to your buttocks, flat onto the mat. And we do the windshield wipers. So we're just doing internal and external hip rotation. We're really working into the hips and a nice little spinal rotation going on as well, just freeing up the hips. So the next posture is a forward bend again. External hip rotation. We'll be working with the hip and the hamstrings and the spine. Again, you can sit on a cushion, which will tilt you a little bit further forward, or no cushions. The next posture is the 3 minutes. So we'll have nice long legs, nice straight spine, and we're going to draw the left foot in. And then we're just going to drop that knee open. Now you may want to support that knee with cushions, which may feel it more accessible. And if the knee is too compromised, I know some of you may have knee issues, if you're feeling too much pressure in this knee, you'll just simply throw it out of the equation. We're coming down through the straight leg. We're going to inhale, lengthen up. And on the exhale, we'll take our back. Don't go too quick. Spine issues, you'll keep your back straight and just focus on the hamstrings and the hip. No spine issues, we'll flex forward again. And perhaps we may want props. So maybe bring cushions or bolsters in to help us. And we're yielding to the posture. So remember, it's restorative. So please feel free to use as many props as you want. You can be quite high if you want to. You can do lots of different things with different props. And again, we just bow to that posture, yield to the posture. And we may be finding this opening in various different places of the body now. So where is the deepest sensation you're feeling right now? And we're always cautious that we want to be outside of our comfort zone, knowing something is happening, but we want to avoid pain. And pain comes in different formats: tingling, burning, shooting, electrical, anything unnatural happening rather than that deep stretch is an indication you've gone too deep, too far, too quick. Just ease off a little bit. Those who are experienced in their yin may want to take away their props and go a little bit deeper. So your mind may wander, especially if you're new to practice. Your mind may wander and think, well, why am I doing this? Such a waste of time. But truly, stay with me. The benefits are enormous. You're aware of your breath, your inhales, your exhales. We've moved into the final minute. Do you want to ease off a little bit? Do you want to go a little bit deeper? Your last 3 breaths in this posture. And then slowly hands to the earth. And again, it's a slow movement, rising up, nice and slow. Ooh, I bet you're feeling that. We're going to bring that knee back in again, long legs again, a little massage of those legs. And then we're back to the windshield wipers, fingertips behind, feet flat, and then we just windshield wiper the legs. So the wider your feet are apart, so the more your feet are apart, the more options you have to bring the knees down. So just enjoying that hip opening in a movement, and then we'll return to stillness. So the opposite leg will go into the groin, and remember, we can use our props as we need them underneath that knee, or again, too compromising on the knee, throw it out. Take an inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, take it slow first of all. One side is always very different to the other, so just take it slow, just really take your time. Nice, easy breathing. And when the body decides to open a little bit more, maybe go a little bit deeper, and just be present in the moment without judgment or criticism of yourself. And with a level of kindness towards yourself. Drifted off again, bring yourself back to the moment. Being in the moment, right here, right now, with what's happening in the body. You're in your final minute. Maybe you want to back off a little bit or go deeper. Your last 3 breaths. And then slowly hands on the earth. We're rising nice and slow. And then we'll bring that knee in and we'll have those long legs again. You can bring your fingertips behind your buttocks again. Keep the legs long. And just lift up the heart for a back bend. So just lifting up the heart. And then come back to neutral. And again, lift up the heart for the back bend. And then back to neutral. And then one more, lifting up the heart for the back bend. There's a little counter posture. And then we're going to have one more forward bend, and then we lay on our backs a little bit more. We're going to have the legs wide apart now. And this is where we're going to be stressing the medial meniscus. Now, all tissues need to be stressed, but we need to stress them in a healthy fashion. If you get pain, pain's an indication you're not going to do this. Bring the legs a bit closer together. You can sit on your cushion to tilt yourself a little bit further forward. You can bend your knees. You can have the bolster or the cushions in front of you. You can have them high. If you've got bolsters, you're lucky. You can just rest here. There's lots and lots of opportunities. It's going to be a 4-minute hold. Take a long, deep inhale, lengthen up first of all, and then on the exhale, flexing the spine long. If you have no back issues, we round and we drop into our straddle posture. Now, you'll notice that you're really getting quite stressed in the hamstrings, in the inner knee. It's also a great hip opener, and it's working your spine. So lots to benefit, unless, of course, you have sciatica or back issues, in which case you'll be high and just work the lower part of the body. Remember, we're bringing mindfulness into our practice. We're just being aware of the sensations, what's happening in the body. So you may want to take your gaze inside your body. We're working with something called connective tissue fascia. It's like a bit of cling film that wraps around all your muscles and joints, and it gets really tight. It gets tight when we sleep. It gets tight when we sit down too much in those nasty little chairs. It just gets tight. And unless we move it and open it with these long holes, we'll not have the range of mobility and flexibility that we want. So we're not asking miracles of the body, we're just going to open up the body. Also, if you've suffered from injury, maybe you've had a fall in the past and you've got scar tissue inside your body, then this long hold yin postures will reduce those adhesions that have been created inside the body. We're making our ligaments thicker and stronger. And we're creating greater collagen production throughout the whole of the body, increasing the lubrication of the body so that all the muscles and joints can slide and move more easily. So just take your gaze inward now, be aware of the sensations, and know that these long holes are doing you good. If you can feel it, it's working. You have 1 more minute to either ease out slowly a little bit or go deeper. Your last 3 breaths in this posture. And then slowly, very slowly, we'll rise, nice and slowly, all the way up. We'll pick up the knees and bring the legs together, and we'll have that little massage again. So when you go to a massage therapist, they work with the tissues of your body, and that's why you feel great after a massage. This really is just giving yourself a free little massage. You don't have to pay for it either, which is really nice. You don't have to go and spend expensive massage fees. So just really work with that connective tissue and the fascia. We're going to lay on our backs, which will be a nice counter posture for the forward bends as well. And we're going to go into the hips somewhat on our backs. So it will be either restorative or it can be quite intense. It will be your choice. There will be 3-minute holds. I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. and then I'll give you a modification if you want to. So first of all, I'll show you what I'm going to do, and then I'll show you what Malcolm's going to do. I'm going to lay down. I'm going to bring my right knee into my chest. I'm going to take that right foot up to the ceiling. I'm going to grab hold of the ankle, maybe the foot. I'm going to take this knee to the outside of my right armpit. And then this leg, I'm going to stretch long, and I'm going to have a real stretch in this big psoas muscle here. Now, that's not options for all. That's when you've been experienced yin for a while. And your hips are maybe a little bit more flexy. Option 2 is Malcolm will lay down. Now, he has hip issues, so it's not always comfortable for him. He's going to bend his knee, and he's going to keep the other one bent as well. He's going to bring that knee up, and he's still going to bring it up. But he's going to hold behind his thigh. And maybe he'll take that up, I don't know, maybe he will, maybe he won't, and then he'll draw down, and this knee will stay bent. So you have lots of options, and you can experiment. So it's 3 minutes, if you want it to be. And remember, you can always bring that other foot up. And we just settle into it. And I'm not going to talk through this section. I'd like you to really just be aware, because we're working into the hamstrings, we're working into the hips, spine is relaxed. And if you've got shoulder issues, you may not want to hold on to that foot because it'll be working into the arms. Being able to just have your arms around the back of that knee, as Malcolm has done. And then we'll just breathe and enjoy that opening of the hips in whichever way we are. Where are you feeling it? Where are you feeling it the deepest? Are you feeling it? Just a few more breaths. And then slowly bring the knee into the chest and bring the other knee back into the chest as well. So we're on our backs, we have both knees in our chest, and we have a little roll around. And I'm guessing that feels quite nice. All we have to do is the same on the other side. And remember, both hips are never the same. One hip may be happy to do it, the other may not. Feet flat onto the mat to begin. The left knee comes into the chest, and we either grab behind the knee and draw it towards the left armpit, or we go deeper, take the foot up to the ceiling. That's always the deepest option. Hands can be behind the knee on the ankles, on the outer edges of the foot. We're drawing down past the armpit. The other leg, foot can stay flat, or we can take the leg long. Ooh, when you do that, you know about it. You're right into the psoas on the right side, so take it easy. Remember, pain is not the target we're going for. We're going for that just outside of your comfort stretch. And then we just yield to the posture and see what the body offers. Opening up that fascia and connective tissue. Allowing the fluids of body to find new pathways, the blood, the water, the nutrients, removing blockages and toxins as they journey through the body. Are you in the moment? Couple more breaths. And then slowly, knees into chest. Oh, that feels good. Rock and roll. Remember that movement we had when we were seated, the windshield wipers? We're going to do that on our back. So feet plant firmly onto the mat. We walk the right foot out to the right and the left foot out to the left. Spread the arms. And then we just drop the knees to the right and drop the knees to the left. Just flow into these movements, just enjoying. Take it easy, nothing too intense. And then we're going to have the legs nice and long. And we're just going to relax. So this is what we call the rebound. So we're just going to relax and check out how we're feeling. And then from here, feet flat onto the mat. We're going to roll over onto our tummies. I'm going to bring our cushions with us. So you may want to have your cushions underneath your chest. Or you may want to be in your Sphinx posture, in which case we take any cushions away and we'll come into our Sphinx posture. So remember, this is restorative hip openers, so please feel free to stay with your arms draped over the bolster and relax there. Or a deeper back bend would be your Sphinx posture. If you've got shoulder issues, you may even want to just have hands underneath the forehead and soften here, because that would still be a back bend. I'm going to have it for about 4 minutes. Nice, easy breathing. So we're working into the lower back now. This is where we get most of our back issues, in that lumbar area. And again, the reason we get these back issues are sitting in those chairs. We need to get out of the chairs as much as possible and sit on the floor. Remember, we used to, as children, read our comics like this and watch TV like this before they went up on the wall. We'd watch our TV in this position. You can even support your head if you want to. We're still working with the back bend. So there's no reason why you can't read your daily paper like this and have a back bend. So the buttocks are relaxed. We have 2 more minutes to go, and it may be that you want to change the position of your legs. I've had my feet together, maybe you had yours apart and bring them together, or alternatively take them apart. So if your feet are together, this back bend would have gone right through the whole of the spine. If your feet are apart, this back bend would be more pronounced in the lower back, lumbar area. So we very seldom do back bends in our daily life. It's very therapeutic for people with spine issues or herniated discs. This posture is good for you. For 1 more minute. Your last 3 breaths. And then slowly, everybody remove any props they may have. Bring your hands underneath your forehead. Turn your gaze to the right. And slide your right knee towards your right side of the body. So it stays on the mat. It's just decompressing the work that we've just carried out. And then sliding that leg back, we'll take the gaze to the left. And we'll do exactly the same, slide the left knee up. And then we'll slide that leg back. We'll bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Draw the elbows into the ribs. And we'll lift the heart and the chest and the head, and slowly pushing through the hands to come onto the knees. Draw the knees in towards the wrists. Stay here for a moment. This is a really nice counter posture. I'm moving you into child posture. So just let the hips move back towards the buttocks. And let the arms move forward, long arms. Your knees, if they're vulnerable, may not like this. Simply just come onto your back. And draw your knees into your chest. So the knees will have no weight on them. So it's just the upside down version. So allowing yourselves to come up. I'm going to take you into the next posture, which is one of the greatest hip openers, which is Sleeping Swan. Now again, it will involve the knees, and some of you may not want to be on your knees, so I'll give you the alternative. Martha only likes to do this on one side. He's going to have his head on a pillow, which is your bedside. which is the bad knee. So the bad knee and hip of Malcolm is on the right, so he's going to lay on his back and he's going to rest his right knee on a bolster or a cushion, and if he wants to, he can take his arms up over his head, and he's going to rest here in a very restorative hip opening manner. So we're going to be here for about 4 or 5 minutes. Those who want deeper and want to go into classic sleeping swan will come with me. They'll be coming into all fours. And you're going to draw your right knee towards your right thumb, and then this back toe will tuck and you'll slide that leg away. Now, for the moment, the heel may be in the groin, and that's fine. We'll have both buttocks off the floor. And the heel is quite happy to stay here. Check your knees okay, and we can roll forward. Or lean to that side and maybe flex the foot and bring the leg a bit further forward and go into a deeper option. Cushions can be underneath your chest. They can also go down the side of this long leg, and we can lean a little bit towards the cushion, or you can do without the cushions entirely. Check out that front knee is happy to be where it is. We're bearing weight on it. And we bow to the sleeping swan. If you want to find another edge and it's not deep enough for you, we call them edges in yin yoga. We like to find our edge. Tuck your back toe if you're in the sleeping swan position. Walk it away a little bit, and this will take you a little bit deeper. But keep yourself in the moment. Don't let that mind drift to a to-do list. Just keep yourself in the moment, aware of your sensations, your breath, and perhaps even bring your awareness to your mind. How busy is your mind today? Your last minute in this posture. And there will be a sense of pleasure when you come out of the posture. You'll be aware of that. There may be a few oohs and ahs. That's where the ums come from. When you come out of long hold postures, you might just want to say If you're laying on your back in the position that Malcolm's on, maybe bring both knees into the chest and give yourself a knee hug. If you're coming with me, we're rising up, hands onto the mat, and then we just slide that leg back and we lay directly onto our tummies. And that's the moment. That's the moment we really feel that sleeping swan. Or you could have stayed on the back and just brought your knees in. Just bring your knees into your chest, and that's it, that'll be fine. And those who are in the sleeping swan position, we're going to do it on the opposite side. So if you're on your back, obviously you'll just take the opposite leg in that same position. And we're going to bring the knees underneath the hips, and then we'll slide the left knee to the left thumb. And we'll slide that back leg away from us. And then we'll decide whether we're going to leave this heel in the groin, or if the knee feels quite happy for it to be there, or we're going to lean over, flex the foot so you really protect the knee joint, bring it a little bit further forward, and hips off the mat, and we release into sleeping swan. And again, remember, one side is always very different than the other. So these postures can be challenging. Don't force anything, just go with the body. The body will tell you what it wants to do. It likes to be aware what's happening, and it will tell you what is good for you. So while we rest in our sleeping swan position, I'll just read you a little quote. You know, I like to read you the little quotes. So the quote will be from Lao Tzu's. But first, I'll just work with the secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, worry about the future, or anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. So we can all do that in our yin practice. Let's do it in our daily life. So the quote is, if you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present. That's a beautiful quote. We know that everyone worries, especially through these difficult past year with the COVID. We worry about work. All sorts of concerns come to us, doctor's appointments, neighbours, all sorts of worries, an exam. They can all be reasons to worry. The difference between thinking and worrying is that thinking leads to a solution. Worrying does not lead to solutions or new insights. In fact, much worrying can lead to stress, anxiety, and feeling very miserable. And worrying also takes a lot of time and energy. So just live in the moment. So your last 3 breaths in this posture. Those who are on their backs will stay on their backs and release the legs long. Those who are with me, hands underneath the shoulders. We rise up and we lay on our tummies for that Om moment. And it's always quite delicious. And your final posture will be just a very nice simple twist. So we're going to lay on our backs and have any cushions that maybe we want, bolsters. And we place them on the right side of the mat. Take the arms nice and long if your shoulders allow you to do so, or keep them low depending on how your shoulder feels. I'm just going to drop the knees to the right. So they can be supported by the cushion if you want, to make it a more of a restorative twist, or you can take the cushion away to make it a little bit deeper. So whichever feels appropriate to you. It's quite nice to finish your practice with a twist, just restores equilibrium. And there will not be any long relaxations this evening, so I want you to use this twist as a really restorative, relaxing twist. Your head can go in any direction it wants. It can go in the direction of the knees, to the ceiling, or to the opposite direction, whichever feels appropriate for you to relax. In yoga, the sacral chakra is the hip chakra, and it's where we hold lots of our emotions. So maybe in this restorative twist, you can let go of anything you may be holding on to, anything from the past you've been holding on to. Just let it go. Be in the moment and live for the moment. You're aware of your last 3 inhales and exhales. And then slowly return the feet flat to the mat. Maybe lift up your hips a bit and just settle the spine back down again. Draw the knees into the chest. Have that little roll around on those sacroiliac joints. Remember to take the cushion if you need it onto the left side of your mat. Feet flat onto the floor, and we drop the knees to the left with the support of the cushion or not, your choice. And again, we have another 3 minutes. Any time to explore what we may have been holding on to, and we can release. Don't let the mind drift, be in the moment. Final minute. Last 3 breaths. And then slowly bring the feet flat onto the earth. Lift up the hips a little bit, drop them back down again, and then draw both knees into the chest for your final knee hug. I hope you've enjoyed that hip opening practice. Hope you feel restored, relaxed, and yet opening the hips. So bring the feet flat to the mat. Take Shavasana for just 1 minute, so long legs. And the palms to the ceiling, long arms. And just allow the body to relax for that final minute. And feel free to stay here as long as you like. I'm going to say my goodbyes to you. So place your feet flat onto the mat if you're joining me and you've completed your practice and no longer wish to relax. Roll over to the right and slowly come up into a comfortable seated position. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Your fingertips in between your eyebrows. Right thoughts. Fingertips to the lips. Right words. And fingertips to the heart. Right intentions.